Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most hotly debated economic tools in history, tariffs. Whether you've heard about them in the news, in discussions about trade wars, or just in passing, tariffs are a major factor in shaping global trade, economic policies, and even the prices you pay for everyday goods. But what exactly are tariffs? How do they work? And more importantly, how do they impact you, your country, and the global economy as a whole? Stick around because we're about to break it all down in a way that's simple, informative, and of course, packed with all the juicy details you need to know. First, let's start with the basics. A tariff is essentially a tax imposed by a government on imported goods. Think of it as a fee that foreign producers have to pay to sell their products in another country. The idea behind tariffs is usually to protect domestic industries from foreign competition by making imported goods more expensive. In theory, this should encourage consumers to buy locally made products instead of cheaper foreign alternatives. But here's the catch. While tariffs can help local industries grow, they also come with a set of challenges that can lead to higher prices, strained international relationships, and even full-blown trade wars. To understand why tariffs exist, we need to take a quick look at history. Tariffs have been used for centuries as a way for governments to raise revenue and control trade. In the early days of the United States, for example, tariffs were one of the primary sources of government income before income taxes were introduced. Countries around the world have long relied on tariffs to shape their economies and protect strategic industries such as agriculture, steel production, and manufacturing. But as global trade has evolved, so have the debates around whether tariffs are actually beneficial or just a roadblock to economic growth. Now, let's talk about the different types of tariffs, because yes, there's more than just one kind. The most common types include ad valorem tariffs, which are based on a percentage of the product's value, and specific tariffs, which are fixed fees imposed on specific goods. For example, a country might impose a 10% tariff on all imported cars, ad valorem, or it might charge a flat $500 fee on every car that enters its borders, specific tariff. There are also protective tariffs, which are specifically designed to shield domestic industries from foreign competition, and revenue tariffs, which are simply aimed at generating government income. And let's not forget retaliatory tariffs, which are imposed in response to another country's tariffs, often escalating into full-blown trade disputes. One of the most famous examples of tariffs in recent history is the U.S. China trade war. Back in 2018, the United States imposed tariffs on billions of dollars worth of Chinese goods, arguing that China was engaging in unfair trade practices. In response, China slapped its own tariffs on American products, particularly targeting industries that would hurt the U.S. economy the most, such as agriculture. This back-and-forth exchange of tariffs not only disrupted global supply chains, but also had real consequences for businesses and consumers. Prices for certain products increased, companies had to rethink their manufacturing strategies, and investors faced uncertainty as markets reacted to trade tensions. This is a perfect example of how tariffs can escalate beyond just a simple economic policy. They can impact politics, diplomacy, and everyday life. But let's bring it closer to home. How do tariffs affect you, the consumer? Well, imagine you're shopping for a new smartphone, and the brand you love gets hit with a tariff because it's manufactured overseas. That additional cost usually gets passed down to the consumer, meaning you'll be paying more for the same product. The same applies to cars, electronics, clothing, and even food. When tariffs are imposed on imported goods, companies either absorb the costs, which can hurt their profits, or raise prices to compensate. Either way, the impact is felt somewhere along the supply chain. Of course, tariffs aren't always seen as a bad thing. For governments and businesses that rely on domestic production, tariffs can be a powerful tool to encourage economic growth and job creation. When foreign goods become more expensive, local businesses have a better chance to compete, potentially leading to more job opportunities and investment in local industries. Countries like the United States, China, and the European Union have all used tariffs strategically to boost key industries, whether it's steel, technology, or agriculture. However, the downside is that tariffs can also lead to trade retaliation. If one country imposes tariffs, its trading partners might respond by doing the same, making it harder for domestic companies to sell their goods abroad. This tit-for-tat approach often leads to trade wars, where multiple countries keep increasing tariffs against each other, harming global economic stability in the process. It's like a domino effect. One tariff leads to another, and before you know it, businesses and consumers on both sides are feeling the impact. A great example of this is the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930. Designed to protect American farmers during the Great Depression, it ended up making things worse by triggering retaliatory tariffs from other countries, which led to a sharp decline in international trade. Instead of helping the economy recover, it contributed to worsening the economic downturn. This serves as a historical lesson on how protectionist policies, if not carefully implemented, can backfire. So, where do we stand today? In an era of globalization, many countries prefer to negotiate free trade agreements, FTAs, which reduce or eliminate tariffs between trading partners. Agreements like NAFTA, now USMCA, the European Union's trade deals, and the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, aim to create more seamless trade environments by removing trade barriers. However, not everyone agrees that free trade is the best solution, as it can also lead to job losses in industries that struggle to compete with cheaper foreign labor. At the end of the day, tariffs are a double-edged sword. They can be a useful tool for protecting industries and generating revenue, but they also come with economic consequences that can affect businesses, consumers, and international relations. As we move forward in a world where global trade is constantly evolving, the debate over tariffs will continue. Are they necessary for economic stability, or do they cause more harm than good? Should governments rely on them, or should they prioritize free trade policies? These are the big questions that policymakers, economists, and business leaders grapple with every day. So, what do you guys think? Are tariffs a necessary tool for protecting local industries, or do they just make everything more expensive for consumers? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on the latest economic and trade topics. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.